He said it like it was nothing. "You're dismissed. Collect your things. I'll have accounting process your final payment." 8 years. 8 years of arriving before anyone else. Of knowing which china was for which occasion. Of remembering that he took his coffee without sugar on weekdays and with sugar on Sunday mornings when he was reading and not thinking about work. 8 years. And he said it like it was nothing. She did not cry. She had learned from her father, who had taught her most of the things worth knowing, that crying in front of people who had already decided you didn't matter was a gift you didn't owe them. She collected her things. She was at the door when he called after her, not to apologize. There's a property, he said. In Carver Lane. It's been sitting empty. You can have it if you want it. Consider it severance. She turned. What's wrong with it? She said. It needs work. He said. She looked at him for a long moment. Thank you. She said. Not because she was grateful, because her father had also taught her that grace in difficult moments cost nothing and meant everything. She left. He watched her go with the specific expression of someone who has done something they believe is generous and does not yet understand that generosity requires more than giving away what you don't want. He would understand in time. Her name was Rosa Maid. She was 32 years old and had been, for 8 of those years, the best housekeeper that the Ashworth estate had employed in 40 years. This was not her assessment. It was Mrs. Collins's assessment, and Mrs. Collins had been managing the household before Rose arrived, and had continued managing it alongside her, and had set it on Rose's 3rd anniversary with the specific directness of someone who did not give compliments they did not mean. She was good at her work, not in the way of someone who had settled for what was available, in the way of someone who had looked at what the work required and had decided to do it completely. She understood the estate with the specific intimacy of someone who had spent 8 years learning its rhythms and requirements, who knew which windows needed the extra attention in autumn, and which rooms accumulated dust in patterns that required particular strategies, and which of the formal china sets had a cup with a hairline crack that needed to be retired before it became a problem. She knew that Mr. Ashworth took his coffee without sugar on weekdays, and with sugar on Sunday mornings when he was reading. He had never noticed that she knew this. He had not noticed most things about Rosa. This was, she had come to understand, simply how certain people were. Not cruel, not deliberately dismissive, simply so focused on the things they had decided were significant that the things they had decided were not significant became invisible. She had been invisible for 8 years. She had decided this was not about her. She had been wrong. It happened on a Monday, not dramatically, or not in the way Rosa had always imagined significant things would happen, with warning and weight, and the particular atmosphere of something that required preparation. It happened in the kitchen at 9 in the morning with the specific abruptness of someone who had made a decision and was implementing it. You're dismissed. Collect your things. I'll have accounting process your final payment. She had looked at him. He had looked at the paper in his hand. Is there a reason? She said. He had looked up, the specific look of someone who had not expected the question, who had understood the conversation. To be complete. Restructuring, he said. We're reducing the household staff. Restructuring. She said. Yes, he said. She looked at the kitchen, at the 8 years of it, the specific accumulated knowledge of every surface and requirement, The china with the hairline crack that she had been protecting for 3 years. "All right," she said. She collected her things. She was precise about it. Took what was hers and nothing that wasn't, which required no deliberation, because she had always known exactly what was hers and what wasn't. She was at the door when he called after her. "There's a property on Carver Lane. It's been sitting empty. You can have it if you want it. Consider it severance." She turned. She looked at him. "What's wrong with it?" she said. "It needs work," he said. She thought about her father, about a man who had spent 30 years working with his hands and had taught her every Saturday of her childhood that things that needed work were not problems. They were opportunities for people who were not afraid of work. "Thank you," she said. She left. The house on Carver Lane was worse than needs work. She stood outside it on a Tuesday morning and looked at it with the specific assessment of someone who had been taught to see what was there rather than what she wished was there. The roof needed replacing on the east side. The windows, 3 of the 6 ground floor windows, were broken or missing entirely. The front wall had a crack that ran from the foundation to the 2nd floor, with a specific trajectory of something that had been ignored for a long time. The garden was 15 years of neglect. The interior, she had the key from his solicitor, who had handed it over with the expression of someone who expected her to look at the property and hand the key back, was damp in the north rooms and structurally compromised in the kitchen extension, and had been home to something she did not examine closely in the corner of the ground floor room. She stood in the middle of it. She thought about what her father would say. She could hear him clearly. "Rosa, what do you see?" "A lot of work, Papa. What else?" She looked at the proportions of the rooms, the original proportions, before whoever had added the kitchen extension had made decisions that didn't suit the building. "Good bones," she said, out loud, to the empty room. "It has good bones." Exactly, she could hear him say. "Good bones is everything. The rest is just work." She took out her notebook. She started making lists. His name had been Miguel Mendes. He had been a builder, the specific kind of builder that was more architect than laborer, the kind who understood buildings from the foundation up, and who had spent 30 years making things sound and beautiful and true. He had died 4 years ago. Rosa still heard him most days, not literally, the specific voice of someone whose knowledge had become so integrated into her own thinking that she could no longer always distinguish between what she knew and what he had taught her. He had taught her to read buildings. "A building tells you what it needs," he had said when she was 7 and sitting on a scaffold eating her lunch while he worked on a Victorian terrace in the city. "You have to listen. Most people look. You have to listen." He had taught her this specific vocabulary of construction, not in lessons, but in the daily language of a man for whom buildings were the primary subject, and his daughter was the primary audience. She knew load-bearing walls from partition walls. She knew damp that was structural from damp that was maintenance. She knew which cracks were settling and which were warning. She knew how to replace a roof section, how to repoint stone, how to level a floor that had shifted over decades. She had not used any of this in 8 years. She had been making beds and polishing silver. She had been making herself invisible. She thought, "I am done being invisible." She picked up her phone. She called her cousin Marco, who was a builder and owed her a favor. "Marco," she said, "I need materials trade price. I'll do the labor. All of it, Marco said. All of it. She said. A pause. Rosa, Marco said. That's a lot of work. I know, she said. Papa taught me. Another pause. Yes, Marco said. He did. She started on Wednesday. Not with the large things. Her father had taught her that large things required the foundation of small things done correctly, and the small things on Carver Lane required several days of assessment and preparation and the specific ordering of materials that required knowing exactly what you needed before you ordered it. She knew exactly what she needed. She started with the crack in the front wall. She worked from 7 in the morning until the light failed, which in November was 4:30. She gave her 9.5 hours, which was sufficient for someone who did not waste time. She did not waste time. The neighbors watched. Not intrusively, the specific watching of people who are curious but polite, who looked from windows and gardens and the pavement across the street, and registered what they were seeing, with the particular interest of people who had watched a house deteriorate for years and were now watching something different. On the second day, Mrs. Alvarez from number 14 brought tea. You're doing this yourself? She said. Yes, Rosa said. Where did you learn? My father, Rosa said. Mrs. Alvarez looked at the wall, at the crack that was being addressed, with the specific competence of someone who understood what they were doing. He taught you well, she said. He did, Rosa said. By the end of the first week, the front wall was repaired, and the broken windows were boarded against the weather pending replacement, and the kitchen extension, which had never been right, and was never going to be right, had been removed entirely, which had required Marco's help for one afternoon, but which Rosa had planned and directed, and which had revealed, in its removal, the original kitchen wall with its original fireplace, which was exactly what the house had always needed and had been hiding. She stood in front of the fireplace. She thought, Papa would have known immediately. She thought, I knew to. I just needed to look. William Ashworth heard about it from his solicitor, the Carver Lane property. His solicitor said, on a Thursday 3 weeks after Rosa had left, I thought you should know. The woman you gave it to is rebuilding it. Rebuilding it, he said. Herself, his solicitor said. Apparently she knows construction. The neighbors have been talking about it. Someone took photographs. His solicitor sent the photographs. He looked at them. The front wall, repaired with the specific precision of someone who understood the material. The windows, replaced. The frames restored to something close to the original profile. The garden, cleared. The bones of what had been a good garden visible now that 15 years of neglect had been removed. And in one photograph, Rosa, standing in front of the house with the focused expression of someone assessing what came next, with dust on her clothes and her hair pulled back, and the specific quality of someone who was exact, lie where they were supposed to be. He looked at the photograph for a long time. He thought about 8 years of coffee without sugar on weekdays. He thought about restructuring. He thought about the particular expression of someone who has said thank you when they did not owe thanks, but said it anyway because grace in difficult moments costs nothing. He called his assistant. Find out what she needs, he said, for the Carver Lane property. Materials, equipment, whatever she's working with, sir. Quietly, he said. Don't tell her it's from me. The delivery arrived on a Monday morning. Rosa was on the roof, the east section, the one that needed replacing, which she had calculated would take her 3 days working alone, and which she had been planning for 2 weeks. She heard the truck. She came down. A delivery, timber, specifically, the correct grade of timber for roof replacement, in exactly the quantity she had calculated in her notebook, and beside it, roofing materials, the correct specification. She looked at the delivery note. No name. She looked at the driver. Who sent this? Anonymous, the driver said. She looked at the materials. She looked at the note. She thought about one person who knew what she had been given and what she was doing with it. She went back up to the roof. She used the timber. She replaced the east section into days instead of 3. When she came down on the second evening, Mrs. Alvarez was at the garden gate. "There's a man," Mrs. Alvarez said. "Been sitting in a car at the end of the lane. 2 days." Rosa looked at the end of the lane. She could see the car. She could see, in the specific way of someone who had spent 8 years learning to see clearly, who was in it. She went back inside. She made tea. She thought about what her father would say. "Rosa, what do you see? A man who made a mistake and doesn't know how to say so. What do you do with that?" She sat with the question. He had been sitting in the car for 2 days, not continuously. He had gone home at night and had come back in the morning and had sat at the end of Carver Lane and had watched the house that he had given away without understanding what giving it away meant. He had watched Rosa work. He had not been able to stop watching. Not because it was remarkable, although it was remarkable, the specific competence of someone who understood buildings in the way that certain people understood the things they had been born to understand. Not because of the house, although the house was becoming under her hands, something he had not expected, because he was watching someone who had been invisible for 8 years become visible, and he understood, watching, that the invisibility had been his. She had not been invisible. He had not been looking. He got out of the car on the 3rd day. He walked up Carver Lane. She was in the garden, working on the beds along the south wall with the focused attention she brought to everything. She heard him come through the gate. She did not look up immediately. "I'll be with you in a moment," she said. She finished what she was doing. She stood. She looked at him. "William," she said. "Rosa," he said. She waited. "I owe you an apology," he said. "Yes," she said. "You do. 8 years," he said. And I said it like it was nothing. "Yes," she said. "It wasn't nothing," he said. "No," she said. "It wasn't." He looked at the house, at the front wall, and the new windows, and the restored garden, and the roof that had been rebuilt with timber that he had sent anonymously, and that she had used without acknowledgement, because using it was the practical decision, and acknowledging it would have required a conversation she was not ready to have. "The timber," he said. "Yes," she said. "You knew," he said. "Yes," she said. "Why didn't you?" "Because," she said, "I wasn't ready to have this conversation. I needed to finish the roof first." He looked at the roof, at the east section, clean and correct. "Is it finished?" he said. "The roof is," she said. "What isn't?" She looked at the house. "The inside," she said. "The fireplaces need attention. The floors need refinishing. The north rooms are still damp. Can I help?" he said. She looked at him. "Can you work?" she said. "No," he said. "Not the way you can." "Then why?" "Because," he said, I have been watching you for 3 days, and I understand that I have spent 8 years not seeing what was in front of me. And I would like, he stopped. I would like to learn. She looked at him for a long moment. My father, she said, used to say that the best builders were the ones who were willing to be beginners. Your father sounds like he was a wise man, he said. He was, she said. She went to the shed. She came back with 2 pairs of work gloves. She handed him one. The north rooms, she said. We start with the damp. It took 6 weeks. Not just the 2 of them. Rose's network. The specific network of someone who had spent 8 years being genuinely good to people and had accumulated the specific return on that goodness. Marco with his team for the structural work. Mrs. Alvarez's son, who was an electrician and who rewired the house in a weekend for the cost of materials. The woman from number 9 who had refinished floors professionally for 20 years and who came on a Saturday and showed Rosa the technique and then stayed to help. A neighborhood making a house. William worked not well. He acknowledged this, and Rosa acknowledged it with the specific honesty of someone who understood that encouraging incompetence was not kindness, but consistently. He came every day. He did what he was told. He learned the things he could learn. He was a poor plasterer. He became a competent one. Better, Rosa said, on the 4th week. High praise, he said. It is, she said. Most people don't get better at plastering. Your father said that too, he said. She looked at him. I told you what he said, she said. You tell me things, he said, quite often, he said. When you're teaching me something. She looked at the wall. He would have liked this, she said. Teaching someone from the beginning. He taught you, William said. Yes, she said. You're teaching me, he said. She looked at the wall, at the plaster that was better than it had been. That would be good enough by the time they were done. Don't get sentimental about the plastering, she said. He almost smiled. No, he said. Of course not. He said it like it was nothing. You're dismissed. 8 years. She collected her things. She accepted the broken house. She said thank you, because grace costs nothing and means everything. And then she went to Carver Lane and she listened to the house. Good bones, she said. Good bones is everything. The rest is just work. She worked. Here is what we learned. What you know cannot be taken from you. They can dismiss you. They can give you a broken house as though it were generosity. They can say restructuring and mean something else entirely. But what your father taught you on Saturday mornings on a scaffold eating lunch, that stays. Rosa listened to the building. The building told her what it needed. She already knew how to give it. And the man who gave her a broken house thinking it was nothing, came back. Not to take it back. To learn. Some people need to watch you build before they understand what they dismissed. Let them watch. Keep building. The bones are good. The rest is just work. That is everything.